Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
me, Rob. We got a very, very long episode. Just kidding.
It is the bye week, so there are less things to talk about here. Hopefully it's the bye week for a certain quarterback as well. We'll talk about that in a moment. We also got a redemption road here, potentially starting for a certain burger flipper. And, of course, we're going to go over our week 10 picks, which was, to be frank with you guys, probably our worst picks we've had all
3 years
long, if not in the 3 years we've been doing this. It wasn't a pretty week for us there, but yeah, so apologize in advance if you lost your money. Most weeks we make you a lot of money. We're still doing pretty good for the season, that's for sure. I mean, you and I are both like 60% on straight up picks for the season. I mean, that's pretty damn good. And, you know, we're over 500 on the spread picks overall, so I'll take it. So let's break right into it, guys, with talking about the big thing. Did Daboll hint at a possible change at QB, guys? You know, we've been talking about this for a while. We kind of expected, hey, they might make a change here at the bye week. And every single week we go into this, you know, post-game press conferences, the Monday press conferences, and every single time Daboll goes, we have to do better as a team. Daniel Jones is their starter. Blah, 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 blah. Smoke up your tuchus. You know, like that's what he does, basically. And this time when he was asked if Daniel Jones was still the starter going forward, Brian Daboll said, we're going to spend a lot of time here watching our tape and evaluating things, and we'll do that as a coaching staff over the next week here. Now, like I said, every single week he's been asked this question, basically. And every single week he's given the answer if he's our starter. So there's a little bit of a pause. And you and I said that was going to happen during the post game. We do so. Listen, we're on live with the post game. We can't listen to his press conference, but I bet this is what he's saying. Well, guess what? We were right. That's what he was saying.
100%.
So he said, we're evaluating our team at the bye week is what we're doing. We'll go back and we'll evaluate everything and decide what we want to do here. We've got a week to go ahead and really dig into this. There's not much to dig into.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that part of it. Like, when I see a big pile of manure, I'm like, let me get a shovel. No. I'm like, that's disgusting. I'm staying away from that.
Unless you want to fertilize your plants.
I guess that's, yeah. I don't think I pick up random piles of poop for that, though. I want just saying. But yeah, guys, this is something that I think is the step to the end. I really do think that we probably saw the very last of Daniel Jones starting for the New York Giants, and not playing the New York Giants. You know, we've been pounding the drum for him to be sitting down for weeks now. It is time. And the downfall is this team will probably start playing better, and it might mess up our draft pick chances. Right now we're number 2 draft pick behind just the Jacksonville Jaguars, who do not need a quarterback, by the way. So, well, they need a quarterback, but they just signed one to a big contract, so they can't get another one.
The DJ of beautiful hair.
Yeah, and, you know, assuming they don't trade the pick, that means right now we'd be able to pick whatever quarterback we want. So, I'm just saying, Cam Ward, what? Who said that? Who said that? Who said that? But yeah, like I said, this is going to be, that's the interesting twist to it. You know, what happened last year, and a lot of guys blame Tommy DeVito and Tyrod Taylor for winning some games late that didn't matter and costing us the chance to get one of these quarterbacks in this draft. Well, you know, it is what it is. I still want to win. I still want to win.
And no one said that during the regular season. Like, let's see what the kid got.
Oh, no, I heard there. Season staying it. I did. I really did. And I'm already seeing people saying it now, like, don't put DeVito in there or start winning games. Like,
I haven't seen it now. People, I see more people like, put him in. Let's see what happens. Put him in.
Yeah, no, definitely the higher percentage on that end. That's what it should be. You know, again, you should never strive to lose out this season. I get it. This is the long-term good, But, again, it does a lot more things to the team than people realize. And I still think you should want to win. It's a pride thing. You want to win. Obviously at this point, 2-8, we're not doing anything the rest of the season. That's not going to happen. But let's say, example, if we pull out to all of a sudden 6-11, 7-10, we're still not good at that point, but we were finishing on a high note. And we're going to talk about all the quarterbacks for you guys Wednesday. So we're going to go over everything as far as the quarterback. There's more than just 2 quarterbacks, guys. I know the 2 quarterbacks are the big names here. There's more than 2. So I'm not worried about that part of it there. I'm more worried about us having the right people to set up a quarterback for success. That's more what I'm worried about. I'm worried about making sure that we have, whether it's Daboll or somebody else, the right guy to coach the quarterback going into it, whether it's Stafford or somebody else, the right guy to start the season and not have to force somebody out there who might not be ready yet. That's what I'm worried about more than where we're picking, because history has shown us setting up a young quarterback for success is more important than getting the top-rated quarterback in a draft.
Correct.
Holmes.
And so.
Ask Allen. The best ones, a lot of them, again, were not the first overall pick. Kyler Murray, disappointment. He's at least a moderate quarterback, but he's a disappointment because of where he was drafted. Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow is probably the exception to the rule. Young, disappointment. Baker Mayfield a couple years ago. Again, the Bucs seem to be pretty happy with what he's doing right now overall. But he was
a couple years ago. He's been a Buck for a couple years.
Let him go. I mean, again, that's more important. So that's what I care about. But going forward, to me, DeVito should be the starting quarterback. Drew Lock should be the backup, and DJ should be the emergency quarterback. I do think, though, that you're going to see Drew Lock starting against the Bucs as we get out of the bye week. That's my personal opinion. I don't know. I'm starting to feel like there's too much going wrong with this team. I don't want to say some of it's not on purpose necessarily and start like the whole conspiracy thing. But
yeah,
he's a little fishy. Some of the questionable play calling, the overtime fumble, it's like we're the team destined to lose.
Now, it would have to come down to play call because, let's think about it for a second. It's not like Daboll's coming up to that off and says, "Hey guys, we're not going to win the season. Let's go for a great draft pick." It stares at Daniel Jones, for no reason. We just want a better pick. See where we're getting. It's not like. Do you think Daniel Jones is going to play? Do you think that's like? You think he's going to be like, "Oh, let's jump on board. I'm a little guy. Maybe just be a terrible quarterback, worse than where I already am."
It'd be funny if he's on the sidelines going, "Listen, Daniel, we have all the confidence in the world on you. Go out there, do your thing." He goes out in the field. He turns over to Kafka. This guy's going to get us the first pick.
They're in the locker room. Daniel Jones goes to the bathroom. "All right, guys, tank."
Whatever DJ does, just go with it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, we're kidding around, but I don't think the team's doing it on purpose. It just feels like that's what's going to happen, though. I think Drew Lock's going to take over. I think it's just the natural way it's going to go. But I do think DeVito should be the guy. So, what do I know? I'm just some goofball. So,
well, what's probably going to happen is you're right. Lock's going to start, and we should probably take a bet if DeVito comes in. A win, a game and a half, 2 games. How many games does it take for DeVito to come in? Half a game?
It depends on how bad Lock plays, and that's part of my concern. Honestly, guys, I'm so torn. I'm saying I want to win. I don't care if they're meaningless games, but a part of me doesn't. I'll admit it. A part of me doesn't, just because I'm so tired of seeing such crappy quarterback play for so long. I really am. I'm just so glad no one's saying year 7. That's the one for DJ. I'm just
There's some people,
even the people that love DJ, he's got to go. They're blaming the organization more than him. They've just He'll succeed elsewhere. Don't you worry. No, he won't. He sucks.
Listen, if he goes to the Carolina Panthers and then goes somewhere else, he might have some success because apparently the Carolina Panthers knows how to take some quarterbacks and turn them into some solid players. Looking at you, Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Quarterback.
Floyd Mayweather. Here's looking at
But-
you, Baker. Here's looking at you, Darnold.
Or you could sit there and say they have no clue what they're doing quarterback-wise because they let both those guys go and both of them are doing, are doing decent now. Honestly, I think if a team picks them up, it's as a backup or it's as a bridge to another quarterback. I personally think if I was him, I'd want to be a backup at somewhere that's stable with an injury-prone quarterback.
Take over, do a Flacco, do
Yeah.
the Gino, do like
Listen,
do a move
if
where
I'm
you
him,
can get a starter.
if I'm DJ, I'll say it point blank. You know where I'm looking next year? I'm looking for some crab cakes, goddammit. I'm going to Baltimore. He'd be the perfect backup quarterback for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, because he's definitely not beating out of Lamar.
No, but he'd be the perfect backup and Lamar Jackson, because of his playing style, is a little more prone to getting hurt than most quarterbacks.
He's
So
getting up there in age.
he's not getting up there in age. He's
You
younger
say
than
he's not getting
he's younger
exactly-
than DJ.
not
I'm
getting
not
younger.
going that far, but I mean, I'm just saying in general, though, like guys who run as quarterbacks are more prone to getting hurt. So you got a chance for him to go there. Let's say Lamar Jackson gets hurt. They got the dual threat tight end, obviously, with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely there. I'm drawing a blank in his name there. Kid from West Coastal Carolina, if I'm right. I was a rookie last year. But yeah, man, they got those two. They got Zay Flowers. They got a decent offensive line. They get the running game with Derrick Henry. Like, that would be a system that would fit Daniel Jones and what he can do. Throw short and run. I just think if I'm him, that's where I go. All right, guys. Before we get to the next topic here, we got Derek, who joined us here for the first time, I think, last night. At least, I say yesterday morning, I should say. I'm so used to come out of post game at night now.
Yeah.
So
Afternoon.
Derek says, "Hey, you guys, should the Giants be playing to lose in order to get number one overall pick?" That's what we're saying. I'm torn. I really don't want to, but
I don't think they're going to tank, but I don't think they're going to have to tank because they're so bad right now.
I don't want to tank, but I'm not going to be upset. Is that probably the best way to word it? Like, I don't get upset over losses like I used to right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to look at it and it's any loss hurts, but if you turn around, you get yourself a great quarterback in this draft, and all of a sudden you win 10 games next year, it'll be worth the pain this year.
Exactly.
Next year.
Exactly. He says, if so, shouldn't they keep Sucky Daniel as a starter? The problem with DJ, and the reason we've been banging the drum for him to be out, Derek, is because we got the injury clause. If Daniel Jones gets injured and he's out for the year, whether he tears an ACL again, has another neck injury, whatever the case may be, we're out the entire salary for him next year. Whereas we can get rid of half it. We get like $20-some-odd million off the books next year right now if we cut him. So, and that's if we cut him, early on. So if we cut him early on, we're going to save $22 million against the cap there. I'm sorry, hold on. $19 million against the cap. I'm reading the wrong side. I'm over the cap. So $19.4 million, we'll say.
Yeah.
If we cut him post June 1st, we're going to save $30.5 million. So I don't see that happening necessarily. 30.5. I think they'll just bite the bullet, eat the $22.2 million next year and call it a day. But you want that money. You want that $20 million. That's a big thing right there. And the fact that they've been playing Russian roulette with him is just insane to me. And then he says, isn't he the reason why they lose? Yes, he is. He says, if we're going to get a new quarterback, then let's get the best one. The problem is, who's the best one?
Yeah, and that's also like very subjective because you could look at last year's draft class, right? Cleep. Daniels has been looking like very good. Star quarterback. Let's just go back to Brock Purdy like 2 years ago. He was drafted in the 7th round. Like he's playing pretty legit football 3 years ago, whatever it was. So like that's. Are you going to reach for a quarterback like Atlanta did for Penix Jr.?
Well, that's just another whole thing of insanity. That's a whole other thing. But we talked about it before. But let's get into this part of it there because it says let's get the best one. Let's go over real quick. Here's the first overall picks at quarterback specifically. 2020, Joe Burrow. That's a win. Okay,
Big
I think the Bengals won that one. 2019, Kyler Murray. That's like an incomplete. Like I can't sit there and say they won. 2018, Baker Mayfield. That's a loss. 2016, Jared Goff. They traded him away, so that's a loss. 2015, Jameis Winston. That's a loss. 2012, Andrew Luck. That's a win. That one I'll give you a win on. Cam Newton, 2011. Yeah, that's a win. Sam Bradford, 2010. Definitely a loss. Matt Stafford, 9. That's a win. Jamarcus Russell, 07. That's about as big a loss as you get. So
is that a punt?
You're
talking, he's a big
dude. Alex Smith is a half a point. I mean, he's not the worst pick that you ever seen, but he's not the guy that led them anywhere big. That's my whole point. Is that people act like he's the first overall pick and you're going to get this great quarterback.
Listen, Alex Smith was the best average quarterback out there.
Oh yeah, and Bryce Young, we didn't put that on the list because the list must have been a couple years old. So I mean, again, the amount of wins at the number 1 overall pick quarterback are a lot larger than the wins. So most years it's a quarterback that goes first overall. And we just picked 3 in 20 years that were winners? 2 halves? Everybody else was losers?
Yeah. Especially for the organization that was drafting him. Because you could say like Baker, he's having a good career, but he was not a win for Tampa Bay. Or for Cleveland. He's a win for Tampa.
But I mean, I wouldn't even say he's a win for anybody at the number 1 overall pick. You got better expectations than being a mid quarterback in this draft, in this NFL. And that's what he is. He's a mid quarterback. Not trying to disrespect the man, but the guy's playing with, Mike Evans, who's one of the best receivers of all time, probably the most underrated, and got
he's got Godwin. He's got
offensive line. Got Godwin. Got a team that went for the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Again. I'm not as big on him. I think he's not a bad quarterback. I just think as a number 1 overall pick, that's not a good thing. So like I said,
you're way higher on Baker than I was, but I have to say he's been playing better.
He's a legit starter, and that's what I said. He is a legit starter. But when I draft somebody number 1 overall, I don't need a legit starter. I need a championship caliber stud starter. Not to steal Gettleman's phrase here, but you want a gold jacket guy when you draft that high, and he's not wrong. There's a lot of things Gettleman said that are wrong. That's one of the things that is not.
Yeah.
You expect to pick, when you pick that high, to go ahead and get a guy who's a future Hall of Famer and an all-time great for your organization. That's what you expect. Derek says, if Daboll stops calling those 2-point conversion plays, then we know the fix was in. Well,
yeah, it's a little different. Yeah.
A lot more to go. Let's see here. Deb says something very wrong about personnel decisions. All we heard was Hyatt couldn't run routes. We hardly see him. Then Sunday he sent in a crucial point and makes 3 completions. Yeah. I mean,
it's amazing what you can do when you sit on the bench for 75 weeks with a team.
We're going to talk about another guy too that we've heard nothing but bad things about as well. That it looks great yesterday as well. So I mean,
there's also look at the defense played against,
and that's what I was about to say too. As part of it. That's definitely 100% part of it. I mean, they're playing the worst defense in the entire league, and all of a sudden Hyatt got 3 catches, and we're all like, "Ooh, he got 3 catches." That's just, if anything, that points out how bad he's been doing. That we're ecstatic he got 3 catches.
Exactly. Against the worst defense.
Exactly. Derek says DJ has to go because he can't play here anymore. Yeah, gotta go right now. Derek says, I can't believe DJ didn't throw that flea flicker because he didn't want to be destroyed for it. It didn't work. Yeah, that was a bad play call. I still say that. I do. Derek's DJ needs a change. He can't remain a Giant. Yep. Ben, what's up, man? He says, you guys may catch my Bucks at the right time in 2 weeks, so the Giants might get a win there and mess up their draft position. Don't you say that, Ben. No, honestly, as bad as we're playing, no, because here's the thing, like the Bucks just barely lost to the Niners.
Yeah,
there's a big difference between just barely losing to the Niners and barely losing to the Panthers. Yeah. That's a huge difference there. Derek says Ravens would be a good place for DJs. Yeah, see, he needs to change bad. Things the pressure off him. Deb says, I think Daboll was covering for DJ when asked about the flea flicker, said he wishes he had it back. The thing is, it totally would have worked because 2 receivers were wide open and DJ missed them. Yeah. I mean, that's 100%, but it was still a weird play call. It still was a weird play call. And I think part of the fact that it made such a weird play call is you have a guy who's having trouble throwing the deep routes, and yet we're setting up on a key third down, a deep route. That just doesn't make sense.
No.
Yeah. That's like sitting there saying, like, okay, you have one question to get your college diploma. Your worst subject is math. We're giving you a calculus question. Like, you set him up to fail, point blank. And I'm not saying, like I said, we're joking around about the fixes in, but it's just it's a poor job of putting him in a place to succeed, and that's on Daboll. He should have known better. You're better off running the ball at that point. That's what you do. Do an option run. That's what the Giants do well. They do not do long throws well. It is what it is. All right, so let's talk about the guy that did look really good, though. Evan Neal, is it turning a corner? Look at that man smiling there in that picture. He should be smiling after yesterday. And
I learned the booger time to flip.
We have been harsh on Evan Neal ever since the burger comment. I will always be harsh on Evan Neal as long as that burger comment is not apologized for thoroughly over and over again, because it was wrong. I will hold the grudge. That's the way Jersey people are. We hold a goddamn grudge. I could be in Florida for 30 years. I will still hold grudges like Jersey people.
I'm going to hold a grudge. Forget about it.
That's what happens. We get mad. We start landing planes. That's what happens. But, he had a really good game. It's probably his best game he ever had. So, it's kind of lost in the shuffle because we're so embarrassed of the loss, and we're talking about getting rid of DJ. And, that's obviously the topic at hand after losing to the worst team in the NFL, at least one that was supposed to be the worst team in the NFL. But Evan Neal had a good game there. It's the highest rated PFF grade of any Giant on offense at 80.6. His pass blocking was considered suspect at 49.4, but his run blocking was rated at 93.4.
Whoa.
That's really good, guys. Like, listen, I can almost forgive that because you notice DJ didn't have a sack from that side. There was no sack given to Neal. There was one pressure, and that's it. Nothing crazy. He was also getting help, though, from Manhurts a lot, and, that's part of why that was there. When you look at PFF grades, they're not just saying, okay, you gave up a sack, I'm going to lower your score. They're looking at, okay, you missed this blocker, or you missed blocking this one guy, and he could have gotten to the quarterback. Luckily, the quarterback got the ball away, but you still get, blamed for that guy not being blocked. That kind of thing. That's a pro and a con of PFF because it's hard to really judge and grade linemen unless you watch every single play they do. But the other problem with that is unless you know the playbook, you don't really know if they effed up or not. You're guessing.
Correct.
You're guessing. So that also is the same fold that maybe he was supposed to block somebody he didn't, and he doesn't get blamed because you don't know. So that can go either way. But like I said, I like PFF specifically for offensive linemen and for secondaries positions as well, because it's so hard to judge that kind of stuff. But yeah, the offensive line had 5 of the 6 spots in PFF grades for the best players on offense last week there. Carmen Bricillo really deserves a ton of credit for what he's doing this offensive line. Jermaine Illuminor also looked pretty good at left tackle. And I'm telling you right now, if Evan Neal can play like that, we should be playing him the rest of the season. Point blank.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means for, the rest of his career with the Giants. I don't know if that means that we go ahead and start him at tackle next year, because keep in mind, Andrew Thomas is coming back. Illuminor is under, contract for 1 more year. But Illuminor can move inside of the guard position if Evan Neal continues playing well. But I think the rest of this season really needs to be find out what you got. And Evan Neal is one of those guys that if we can get this kind of play out of him, we all know the pedigree. 7th overall pick. A lot of people had him, ranked as their top offensive lineman in this draft. This would be a nice thing for the Giants if he all of a sudden starts playing well. But we also have to preface it with what you said a minute ago, because it's 100% accurate. He did it against the worst defense in the league, guys. Now, the Bucs don't have a ton of great pass rushers either. But they have a good defense overall, so it's a better test. But we'll have to see if over a couple of weeks if this continues. But if it does, then Carmen Bricillo deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know why he gets the Nobel Peace Prize. But
He gets the Peace Prize. All right.
It's really, really good. I mean, that's a huge thing for this franchise, because this is one of the biggest busts that we've ever had. He's Eric Flowers, basically 2.0. So, if you can do it, then you made a big thing here. And again, he's in his 3rd season now, guys. 3rd season. So to get that, that's pretty good. And as Derek says, Neal is still very young. Guys, he's 24 years old. This is not your typical guy that's been in the league now for 3 years. This guy was very young coming out of college, and maybe that's on us. And, we do this time and time again as fans, is you get a guy that comes out of college and we expect great things right off the bat. And we forget they're prospects. They're young. They're kids. They're still learning. Evan Neal is getting injured left and right. Now, let's be honest. It's a rumor that the Giants totally messed up his injury last year.
Oof.
So, maybe we've been too harsh. I'm not going to say for sure, but maybe we've been too harsh on him. But I want to see a continuance of playing well. I want to see him saying the right things on camera and interacting properly with the fans, because I'm not ready to give up that burger flipper comment yet.
Not yet.
And I'll probably always bring it up as long as he plays for the Giants. But I might bring it up more of a joking way if he changes things around, plays better, interacts with the fans right, and says the right things.
Yeah, it's fair.
So, all righty, guys, let's pay the bills real quick.
Ooh, I like that.
And then we're going to go ahead and go into our Week 10 recap here with you guys.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
All righty, guys. And of course, as always, if you want to support the show, you can do so by sending a super chat here on YouTube or stars on Facebook as well, guys. Best way really to support us, and beneficial for y'all too. When you're watching this, I'm assuming you're Giants fans. We do three shows a week plus post-game shows. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share button as well. Send it to a friend, because we suck at marketing, guys. We probably count on you guys to help us out there. So, and if you're watching this and enjoying, hit that thumbs up if you're on YouTube as well. That really helps spread it out as well. So
ring that bell.
Oh, yes. All right, guys. Let's get into our Week 10 recap here, guys. It's time to go over the Week 10. And it was not a pretty Week 10 for Rob and I. Let's be honest, guys. We don't sugarcoat it. We say it like it is, even if we're the ones who are wrong. We, going into this game, we had. Well, I'm saying going this week. Yeah, you're right. Going this week, we had pretty good numbers in the season. You know, we're way over 50% in pretty much every single category, including spread picks, including over unders, especially like 60% in this week, into this week with the straight up picks. This was not our finest moment, guys. This was not our finest moment.
No.
And I'll tell you, Rob did squeak out a victory here. Which means he finally has a better record than the Giants. but it's definitely not, like I said, this is an embarrassing week for both of us. So going into the week, my lead was 265 to 257. So I had an 8-point lead. Let's go over the games. We'll let you know where we ended up here, guys. First up, we have the Thursday night game, which was clearly supported by some kind of foundation for blind referees because they did not seem to understand anything about face mask penalties whatsoever. And it's funny because I share with you, Rob, the thing LASIK supposedly sent out about Daniel Jones, and I couldn't find it on LASIK's Twitter page. So that's why
I looked for it. As soon as you sent it to me, I looked for it.
It's going all over Facebook. But LASIK does have all kinds of things about referees not seeing things all over their Twitter page, and they had the end play as well of this game right on there because it was such an obvious face mask call. It's not even funny. Like they literally twisted his head around basically. But the Ravens were the recipients of blind referees' fortunes, so they won, squeaked out a victory, 35 to 34. You and I, we got some points here. So I picked the Ravens to win. You picked the Bengals to win. So I got my point. You picked the Bengals to win the spread. I picked the Ravens to win the spread. So you get your point there. And then you and I both picked the over, so we both got 2 points in this. So
yeah,
not our worst game, not our best game there.
No, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Some guy, yeah, I was going to say some guy said that he was famous.
Don't be sad.
All right, up next, we went to Ernst, Germany, and playing over the seas. Yes,
again, I'm German. It's okay we're doing this.
Yeah. So am I.
I've been told that's the rule. That if you are that nationality, it's okay to do it.
I'm an American mutt. But the Panthers were hosting the Giants over here. Yeah, guys, we saw the game. We recapped the game. And yeah, if you want to know what we thought about it, tune into yesterday's episode. Yoink. Giants lose in overtime, 20-17 to the Panthers. Drew and I both took the Giants to win. We had faith in our team. We obviously took them in that spread because we thought it was going to be a blowout, and it wasn't. It was really tight. And we also both picked the under, so we each got one point.
One point.
Yeah.
No Ziggy Zaggy there. No Ziggy Zaggy.
Ziggy Zaggy. Oh.
No, it said no Ziggy Zaggy. Then you start Ziggy Zaggying.
Yeah.
Nothing to celebrate. By the way, if you didn't notice, Rob, we always make fun of the fact that because you're anonymous in the spreadsheet always. This week, the animal they picked for you is Anonymous Loris, which is why I picked this. This is a pygmy Loris, and he just looks really weird with his bug eyes and eating some kind of applesauce or something up a spoon.
That's how it looked like when I looked at the recap and the wins. I was like,
so next up, guys, we had the battle of the first round quarterbacks from this year. So you had Caleb Williams lose already to Jaden Daniels this year. Would he also lose to Drake May? The short answer is yes, he would, very badly. Patriots won 19-3. Yeah, that's not very good, guys. So you and I both had picked the Bears to win. That was a mistake, clearly. I did pick the Patriots to beat the spread because there was a 6.5 point spread. So did you. So you and I both got points for that one. You did pick the under, so you got an extra point on that game there.
Whoop, whoop. Up next, you had the Colts hosting the Bills. The Bills wound up putting 10 points over on the Colts. They win 30-20. And in this game, Drew, we both took the Bills to win. Yoink, yoink.
I can't. That thing, listen, this thing is pitiful looking, but it's absolutely adorable at the same point. You know it.
Fantastic. You took the Colts in the 4-point spread here, and I took the Bills to cover this.
Yeah.
And the over-under in this game was 47.5 points. You took the under. I took the over because I had faith in the Bills to just smack up some points because that's what they do all year. First trifecta on the board.
No, but remember, the Colts were perfect against the spread this year, so there was a reason why I did that. But all good streaks must come to an end.
Just like the one on my pants.
You have a streak in your pants? In the rear or the front?
What did you like to know?
No, I would not. I don't know why I asked the question to be very frank.
Don't ask questions you don't have the answers to.
Let's go to the next game here. We got the Vikings at the Jaguars there. What we expected to be an absolute blowout because of how bad the Jags have been playing lately. Another low-scoring game. 12-7 the Vikings win, guys. Woo. So the Vikings, you and I both picked them to win. So we got the point for that. We both picked them for the spread. We did not get the point for that. You and I both picked them for the over somehow. And yeah, we definitely didn't get that either at that point. So we got 1 point each in that game.
Yeah, brutal. Well, up next, you had the Broncos going to Kansas City. We both took the Chiefs to win this game, which, fantastic because Chiefs been playing fantastic football. 9-0. Amazing.
Nice.
Talk about LASIK surgery. Should we to talk about these reps? Because my God.
Oh my God.
But that's besides the point.
This was a blocked field goal at the end of the game.
Yeah, I was going to say. Well, there were some other calls that were.
I'm sure there always is. Listen, you can go to any game and do that. It's just people hate them right now because the Chiefs have been winning Super Bowls. That's the way this goes. If you don't
100%.
like the fact that a team is winning Super Bowls, that's not your team. You know what? Get your damn team in gear and get a freaking Super Bowl. I know we don't have control over it. Obviously, we wish the Giants would win a Super Bowl every single year. But it's like I hate when fans hate a team because that team is winning. Don't be jealous.
Well, also we talked about the block field goal at the end. Let's talk about it real fast. You get a second point because you took the Broncos in the spread with the 7.5 point favorites for the Chiefs. I took the Chiefs and the faves. Womp womp. We both took the over in this game than us because it was such a low scoring game, especially with the block field goal. You had the Kansas City Chiefs win 16-14 due to the block field goal. Anyway, that also being said, did you see the play? I think it was the third quarter when Patrick Mahomes was running for his life and he got pushed out of bounds and he turned around to the refs and said, "Go, man, let me know when he gets close to me." And everyone's like, "Oh my God!" Like. The fix is in. The fix is in. I'm like, he's just being a smartass because I would have said the same thing.
Am I the only one who wants to see that man dress up as Kermit the Frog for Halloween one year?
100%.
Kermit the Frog here. We win Super Bowls.
Yeah. So, Drew, you get 2 points. I get 1.
There we go. Now, here's the next game that really helps us with the draft positioning potentially here. So the Saints somehow squeaked out a win against the Falcons 20-17 in the game that nobody thought would go that way. And let's just put it this way. If this game was for our lives, we'd be dead right now because you and I picked the Falcons to win, to cover, and the over. So we got not a single point amongst the two of us. Goose egg.
Yeah. Terrible.
Terrible.
Up next, you had an exciting game. You had the San Francisco 49ers going into Tampa Bay. I just can't at it. The Niners squeak out a win against the Buccaneers 23-20. It was a fantastic game. It was back and forth. Fantastical. We both took the Niners to win this game. We almost lost those points there, but we each get a point there. We both took the Niners in the spread, which was 6 points. We both lost those points. And then the over-under, you took the under of 15.5 points. I took the over. So, Drew, you beat me this round 2-1.
Next up, we got the Steelers going into D.C. to face the Commanders. And, yeah, Another game that you and I did not do good on here, guys.
Say the least.
Yeah, so the Steelers squeaked out a victory 28-27 there. So you and I both picked the Commanders to win and to beat the spread. That did not happen. We both picked the under. That also did not happen. So back-to-back goose eggs for us, guys. We warned you this was not a good week for us.
No. Now we go into the 4 o'clock games where all the blowouts started happening. You had the Titans going in and playing the Chargers.
Those Titans.
Oh, remember the Titans. Well, no one remembers the Titans because they lost. They lost 27-17 against LA. Yeah, brutal game. We both took the Chargers to win this. The Chargers were favored by 7.5 points. We both took the Chargers in that big spread. We both won that. Each get 2 points apiece, but we both took the under in the 39 points, which the Chargers for the first time, I think, this year put up more than 20 points. Just about. This is probably the highest scoring week they've had. I think they've averaged like 16, 17 points a game. And they've averaged, letting up, I think, 17 points let up against them on defense. So we both wisely took the under, but did not happen because it was the best outing that the Chargers had. Yeah.
Yes. Then we have the second part of the embarrassment bowl of New York here with the Jets losing to the Cardinals 31-6. And I think we kind of forget sometimes the Cardinals actually are not even doing that bad this year. We're so used to the Cardinals being the Cardinals that we're like, it's the Cardinals. But the scary thing is they're actually number 1 in their division right now, guys. They're 6-4, and they are tops of the NFC West, beating out the Rams, beating out the Seahawks, and even beating out the 49ers right now for the division lead.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the Jets are playing just good enough to not get a good quarterback in this draft. And
but the most Jets thing they could do.
With having to pay Aaron Rodgers probably next year as well when he's done with his dark spelunking mushroom trip at that point.
In no way, yeah.
You and I, we almost did a back-to-back goose egg here because you and I both picked the Jets to win and to cover, and that did not happen. We both picked the under, though, and that did happen. So we each get a point for that there. So
sweet.
Hat trick.
There we go. All right. Up next, you had the Eagles. Oh, no, our division rivals here. The Eagles playing Dallas here. In this game, we both took the Eagles to win. We both took the Eagles to have that 7-point favorite spread come to fruition, which happened because let's talk about the Eagles spanking on the Cowboys, who did not have Dak Prescott in this game. It was Cooper Rush, I believe, right? So the Cowboys lose 34. Most likely, yes. So the Eagles lose. The Eagles win 34 to Cowboys 6. And in this game, we both took the under, which gave us both a trifecta. So
we got one right. We got one right. We got one right. By the way, you see Jerry Jones getting cornered by the media after that game? Oh my God. Like he was pissed.
Yeah.
Absolutely pissed. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. I don't pretend to hide my dislike of the Cowboys, but I try to not make it a personal thing. I despise Jerry Jones as a person. I really do. And did you see the thing he did the interview where he did a radio interview and they asked him tough questions and he basically threatened their jobs?
Oh, what a piece of shit.
Yeah, because as a radio show, he agreed to do once a week an interview with them. And they asked him some tough questions. This was a couple weeks ago, but they asked him some tough questions. And he literally went off on them. I could not believe the way he did it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It was I literally could not believe what he did. Here we go. I found the article of Barstool Sports so I can see if I can give you the exact in case you missed it here. Let's see here. Nope. They didn't put the actual quote of what he did. But it literally took him 2 hours to go ahead and apologize. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
I wish they had it on there. Let's go over the next game here, and then I'll see if I can find it for you guys real quick. But you know what, Rob, you go over the next game. I know you said the Eagles one. Do this one as well, and I'll see if I can find it real quick.
Perfect. Yeah. So Sunday Night Football, we are looking for an exciting game, and we had an exciting game here. You had the Lions going into Houston playing the Texans, which obviously that's where they play because that's how that works there. Lions were down in this game. Was it 23 to 7 at halftime? 23-7 at halftime. But Lions squeak out a win, 26-23, which is the third time I think in 3 decades or maybe 5 decades that a quarterback that had 5 interceptions won the game. So, which is actually the first time I think in the Lions franchise, and it's also the first time or in 70 years that the Lions have gone 8-1 and been this good in football, which is basically because they made their own team records last year and they're smashing those records this year. So we both took the Lions to win this game. We did take the Lions in the spread at 3.5 points, which means we lost because they only won by 3 points, barely won. And Drew, you took the under. I took the over. Gives me 2 points against your 1.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I found what he said. So this is when he was being interviewed. Now this was back in about a month ago. So he's being interviewed and he doesn't like the questions. He said, "This is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job. I'll get somebody else to ask these questions. If I'm going to get grilled, I don't need it to be by the guys I'm paying." Like absolutely ridiculous the way he did that. Now we got the Dolphins and the Rams guys going on right now. As of right now, the Dolphins are winning 10-6 in the third quarter. So we'll have to see how that plays out. So far for the week, overall wins, I have 8. Rob has 7. Spread picks, I only have 4, and an absolute embarrassment there. He's got 5. I've got 5 over unders. He's got 7. I have only 1 trifecta. He has 2. So right now, Rob has a 3-point lead. Again, what is clearly our worst, absolute worst game week that we've had of picks all year long by far. Not even a close second, guys. That's how bad it is. So we'll get you guys the final update there later on. But I'll tell you this: Rob and I have the same exact picks in this game here. So regardless of the outcome, that'll be the spread. So that'll keep me at a 5-point lead overall on the year after this. At the 10 weeks down and 8 more weeks to go there stage. So all right, guys. So Wednesday's a big episode coming up for us, guys. We're going to be going over the quarterbacks coming out in this upcoming draft. So we also are in talks with a guest coming on as well, because I wanted somebody else to give another opinion as well, because we always admit freely, Rob and I are not college football guys. What we do, though, is we scout the hell out of players for the draft. So I've spent a lot of time. The nice thing was the fact that we had, a couple of primetime games, or I've had some Sundays that I can, while I'm watching regular football, I can also be looking up some stuff on college players. And I did a ton of tape watching yesterday, literally basically from the time the game was over to the time I went to bed, just nonstop watching tape on quarterbacks. And we got a lot of information to go over there with you guys. We're going to have 8 quarterbacks we're going to go over with you guys on Wednesday. 8 quarterbacks. If I keep on saying this, more than 2. Yeah. Everybody acts like there's 2. There's 2 big ones. But if we can't get one of those, there's plenty more to come after that. So, and like I said, we will have a special guest on potentially for that as well. So they did agree to it today. So hopefully we can get that going as well. So we'll be back again for you guys, like I said, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Wednesday for that. That's a can't miss here. We're doing that on Wednesday because we usually do, obviously, our preview. But since the Giants are on a bye week, there's nothing to preview. So we're going to do that instead. So,
preview our draft.
Oh, yes. So, all right, guys. So we're going to call it a night there. Like I said, if you haven't already, do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share button there. As always, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and, of course, Rob's favorite. Oh, yes.
Oh, God.
And, of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms as well. It's Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Pandora, all the big ones there. So if you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe there as well, please. And if you're on Apple, leave a review as well, because that really does help everything as well. Appreciate you guys for listening, watching in today there. We'll see you guys again on Wednesday to go ahead and talk about those college quarterbacks here. Who's going to be the next Daniel Jones or Eli Manning? Been a while, guys. Think about it. We've only had 2 quarterbacks really since 2014, guys. That's 20 years with 2 quarterbacks. Say what you want, but that's a whole lot more quarterbacks that most people have than 2 in that time frame.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give us something positive. All right, guys. We'll see you guys again Wednesday. Appreciate it as always. And as always, Giant fans.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm